Thank you all for being here today. As anybody that's ever taken my class before or any of my personal training clients, I always say you made a choice to be here today. We're all very busy. We all have responsibilities. We all have things that we could choose to do, but you made a choice to be here today, and you made a choice to prioritize yourself. You made a choice to prioritize you. For that, I absolutely commend you. So thanks for being here. Those of you who don't know, I'm Rob. I'm Rob Harden Anderson, and I am the virtual program specialist for Elevation Corporate Health. Along with a couple other individuals, I get to plan events like this. So I was a part of creating and planning the Elevate Mindfully 8-week series. We felt that it was important, especially amid this time of great uncertainty, all of us being at a distance, that really there's never been a more important time to prioritize being mindful and finding ways in which we can improve our well-being. I talk a lot about my previous job with Elevation was the fitness and wellness manager in Playa Vista. And one thing I really focused on was making sure that we were always enhancing the wellness of the services we were offering. And I always thought that the wellness part in my job title was just as important as the fitness part. You can't have one without the other. I am hold a national certification in personal training from NCSF, and I'm also an ACE nutrition specialist and a group fitness specialist. And I put down on here I'm a future MS nutrition and food systems and a future RD, a registered dietitian. I'm currently getting my master's in nutrition and food systems at the University of Kentucky, and that's where I'm coming to you today from Lexington, Kentucky. My areas of interest in nutrition are the role in which exercise plays in nutrition, particularly looking at obese and overweight individuals to try to help that great health crisis that we have right now in this country. Welcome to Breathing and Stretching. I put a couple questions here off the top that I encourage you to think about as this session, our time together goes on, and then maybe as you leave. Can taking 6 deep breaths really help you live longer? Does flexibility increase longevity? How do you create inner peace? How do you find balance? The world right now is filled with uncertainty. And how do you respond to that uncertainty? You can just think about some of those. And I'm going to answer some of those today, and we'll talk about it as well. For me, I always go back to science, and science is still figuring all of these things out. But I like to look to people that are a lot smarter than me and see what they're talking about. And then that helps me inform my decisions and information that I share with you all and with my clients. The New York Times recently had an article, some of you may have seen this, but it was Breathe Better with These 9 Exercises. And I put the link here. You all will get a handout after this, and I encourage you to give the article a read. It gives you 9 exercises. I'm going to focus on a couple of them, but they believe that these exercises will help you breathe better. There is a book out right now, and if you can find a podcast with this guy, I listened to it a couple months ago, James Nestor, and he's got a book called Breathe, The New Science of Lost Art. And it is absolutely fascinating. He spent 3 years researching breathing from the beginning of time and in different cultures, and everything that you hear about from Wim Hof to all kinds of other crazy things. He investigated what was going on there. And he had a great quote. I love quotes. And he said, "You can't be truly healthy unless you are breathing correctly." Now, I am absolutely guilty of this myself, and it's something that I've been personally working on diligently for about the last year. Shutting our mouth when we breathe and breathing in and out of our nose is the ideal way to breathe. Think about this a lot. I'm a mouth breather. I have been since I was a kid. I grew up with a lot of allergies. I had ear and nose issues. I felt like I was always stopped up. And as a result, I became a mouth breather. And in actuality, when we breathe in and out through our nose, we're creating more nitric oxide, which opens up our blood vessels. And anybody that's taken exercise, if you've asked yourself to walk up the stairs very quickly, you are having to create nitric oxide to power yourself to do the activity that you're asking yourself to do. So if we think about it from that standpoint, we're really making it much harder on ourselves to effectively do the thing we're asking our bodies to do if we are not breathing correctly. Mr. Nestor, in his book, talks about he spent about a year where he did this practice that was referred to from a physician, in which he would actually just put a little bit of tape on his mouth at night when he slept to teach himself to breathe in and out of his nose. I'm not telling you all to tape your mouth shut at night, but I do think I am consciously aware of it myself. when I'm running, if I'm doing activities, whatever it is, and that breathing in and out of our nose is preferable. Anybody that's ever taken a voice class, I don't know if any of you are maybe took an opera class at some point or were in a choir or anything, but anybody's ever done that, I'm sure you maybe did an exercise where your vocal instructor taught you and talked about using your diaphragm for breath. 10% of adults use their diaphragm, which we call belly breathing. I am not normally one of those 10%, and it's again a work in progress. A great way to think about your diaphragm breathing is you put your hand on your belly button, and the diaphragm. We should be using our belly. So many of us we stay up here in this, right? So I'm just using my mouth to breathe, but if we get it all the way down to our belly, and you really use our belly for breath, again, much more effective. And this is one of the cheapest and greatest things you can do for yourself. This is a lacrosse ball. I think I bought this a couple years ago on Amazon for about $3-4, and it has I've gotten my money's worth in this in spades. This lacrosse ball is awesome, and the article goes into some of these exercises that you can do, but even something like this, and just taking this as I'm sitting here, or maybe you're at your desk or you're on the couch, whatever it is, even something like this, and just loosening up our neck, because so many of us hold tension right here in our neck. And as a result, we're hunched over on our computers. And when we're doing this, we're automatically squishing that airwave to allow us to breathe as optimally as possible. So standing up nice and straight makes everything just go much more vertical. So I encourage you for a lacrosse ball for neck and chest muscles, shoulders, all of these things. A great example of this, I was talking at the beginning of this with Diana. I'm running a marathon on Sunday, and when I get tired and I'm running, I know I'm tired when I start hunching over. But when I'm able to stand up straight, I'm actually making it easier on myself to perform and to continue to get my body to move, because I'm allowing my body to get air throughout it into the muscles. Cat-cow, a little plug for a class that I teach every Friday at 10:30 is Stretch and Core Reset. You can find it in the same place you found this class today on Elevation Live. And one exercise that I really incorporate in there is the cat-cow exercise. I'll just show here standing. Typically you would get it on all fours, but you can get this at your desk, and all you're doing is bringing your tailbone up, breathe out, arch your back. And just this simple exercise really just loosens everything up. I've been an avid practicer of this for the last couple of years, and I really do believe that my mobility and my flexibility has improved across the board here. And I also think that it does have a positive correlation on overall stress and tension that we hold in our bodies. This came from Diana. She likes to send me articles and on research, and I like to share things that I've read with her. And she sent this to me a couple months ago. Science Daily is a wonderful website if you're ever curious and want to read some things, see what the latest things are. But they had a study that they shared about the readiness potential and how breath impacts decisions that we make. And the example they use in this article, in this research study, was, have you ever gone ahead and eaten that piece of chocolate despite yourself? And yes, I am very guilty of that as well. And what they're looking at is, how does our breath impact the decisions that we make? Scientists in Sweden did this research study, and they've shown that you're more likely to initiate a voluntary decision as you exhale. So if we hold our breath and we're like, I don't know what I'm going to do. Should I do? What do we do? I'm going to just do this thing. We inevitably make decisions that maybe we would not have made if we were in a more relaxed state and we just took a deep breath. I think about advice my mom might have given me as a child. Just take a deep breath, right? It's going to be all right. That's kind of what they're looking at here. Now, what is readiness potential? It's a signal of brain activity in the human cortex that happens before voluntary muscle movement, but also before one becomes aware of the intention to move. So our bodies are amazing things, and they are prepared and ready to move before we know we're going to move. So what they looked at in this study and what they found is they believe we're more likely to initiate acts of free will, voluntary movement, as we exhale. So the next time you're thinking about that piece of chocolate or that piece of cake, or maybe it's a big decision. Do we go visit so-and-so or whatever it is? Exhale and see if it actually turns out to be the decision that you want to make, and not something that is you feel like it's out of your control and you're just doing things that you didn't intend to do. All right. This is one of my favorite people right now. This Dr. Andrew Huberman from Stanford University. He's a neuroscientist and a professor in the Department of Neurobiology at Stanford School of Medicine. It's, like I said, the kind of people that I like to trust. It's what an awesome job. And he says that the brain is trying to figure out three things all the time: duration, path, and outcome. Duration, how long is this thing going to take? Or how long is this class going to take? 30 minutes. What's the path to get there? Okay, I log on, I sign in. Okay, great, I'm there. What's the outcome? What do you hope to happen? The same thing is true when you're taking one of my classes. I've got you doing some kind of Metcon that's going to you got to do a bunch of burpees and squats and a bunch of other things, right? Well, what do you want to know? What's the duration? How long is it going to last? I usually tell you. What's the path to get there? These are exercises I got to do. And then what's going to happen after that? Well, this is the outcome. I hope I'm going to be a little bit healthier. I'll be a little bit stronger. So those are the things that we're trying to figure out all the time. That's really all the brain is concerned with: duration, path, outcome. COVID. Why was that so scary? Don't know the duration. Don't know the path, how to navigate it. We don't know what the outcome is. So when we don't know the answers to those three things, that's when we get stressed. That's when we have uncertainty. And that's when our breath becomes so much more important. He talks a lot about a breathing exercise that I'm going to give to you today that I've personally been implementing, and I think it's great. And again, anybody's taking my stretch and core reset class, I try to end with this. And it's an exercise to get us to switch from our sympathetic nervous system, which is the fight or flight, the go, go, go. It's the thing that lets you do burpees. It's the thing that's been ingrained in us from the beginning of time so that we could fight off a bear that was chasing us, to the parasympathetic, which is our relaxed nervous system. I personally find this applicable really after a hard workout. I think it's great. And then at the end of the day, because a lot of times we can be going all day. And if we don't switch over to our parasympathetic to relax, that can then affect our sleep, which can then affect our hormones. And then we wake up tomorrow morning and it's all right back down the rabbit hole. And we haven't gotten any better than we were the day before. So the exercise that he talks about is you're going to breathe in through your nose. So you breathe in through your nose, and then you're going to hold it for about 3 or 4 seconds. And then once you get to that point, you're then going to breathe in again through your nose. So it's like you take an inhale in through your nose, breathe in again, exhale through your nose. I tell you right now, if you do that, there's no way after you do that exercise, you don't feel a little bit calmer and a little bit more relaxed. If you truly do it and just take your time with it, it's remarkable. I've done it and looked at my heart rate as it's before it and afterwards, and normally it'll drop about 20 points.
Wow.
It's very, it's pretty powerful. So again, it's a breath in through your nose, hold it, breathe in again through your nose while you're holding it, exhale through your nose. In terms of movement, one of my favorite people that I want to mention and encourage you to check out is Kelly Starrett. He wrote a book called Becoming a Supple Leper. And you can check him out at thereadystate.com. He kind of came to fame 5-10 years ago, especially amid CrossFit and really when recovery and myofascial release kind of became mainstream in the fitness world. I encourage you to YouTube some of his videos. They're a little crazy. You will think he's absolutely insane. His ability to absolutely love rolling around and contorting his body into a bunch of different positions, and you look at him and you don't think he should be able to do it, but It's pretty fascinating. And as I said here, most good coaches are a little crazy. I think they're usually a little bit out there. They got to be. He has a great quote that I love, and it's every human being should be able to perform basic maintenance on themselves. So I say that from the standpoint of the ability to know your body. The body is super intuitive. If we really can take a second to breathe and then think about what it is our body needs. You go, okay, I'm feeling a lot of tension. I'm feeling antsy. Okay, what's going on? What's really the root of the cause? And you go, well, my neck's bothering me. Okay, great. Okay, now we know our neck's bothering us. Okay, how do I get my neck to feel better? Well, maybe it's the lacrosse ball. Maybe it's rolling this out right here. That ability to know yourself and to know your body, and then to be able to perform some basic maintenance on yourself and not go, my neck hurts, I need to go see a chiropractor. Well, maybe you do, but maybe there's a way that you yourself can take ownership for your body, and perform a little bit of basic maintenance on yourself and not have to go to the doctor. Again, that'll be linked to his stuff in the handout. So I wanted to, at this time, just open it up for questions and discussions, and give you a couple prompts this week for your journal. The couple ones that did I practice mindful breathing? I talked about the one from Dr. Andrew Huberman, the inhale through your nose, hold it, inhale again through your nose, exhale through your nose. And the other one that I kind of teased at the start was taking 6 deep breaths. I make this a point before meals to take a couple deep breaths, and they're in through my nose, out through my nose. And doing different studies have shown different numbers. I think that it's somewhere between 4 and 8 is a good number to get, something like that. But it's really, you're taking 20 seconds, right? It's 20 seconds before you eat and getting yourself into that parasympathetic nervous system. And there has been research that's shown that when we are in a parasympathetic state, our digestion does actually improve. We are able to process and assimilate the calories that we're putting on our body, as opposed to if I'm stressed and I'm at work and I'm eating standing at my desk, or I got to run out the door real quick, or I'm scarfing this down in the car, whatever it is. A lot of times we did feed ourselves, but maybe we don't feel so great 20, 30 minutes later because we had to rush through it. So wherever you are, I just encourage you to be a little bit mindful prior to meals for your health. And then also taking that moment for mindfulness prior to the meal gives you an opportunity, if you're eating a couple times a day, to practice a little bit of mindfulness. It's already built into the day. Did I move my body? I think this is just kind of at the base of everything. I know that if I've sat too long one day, I start to get a little antsy, and normally I go, you need to move. And normally once I move, if I take a 10-minute walk, get out in the sunlight, maybe I make myself do 10 burpees, whatever it is, do some squats, I normally feel better after I do it. And the brain likes that. It also likes the reward that we get by doing the activity. You say, I'm going to go do this. Then you go do it. Your brain's really, really happy with you after you've done this because you've gotten a win, right? You've gotten a win. And then the other one is, how does my body feel? And just taking time to really start to check in with yourself throughout the day is a powerful thing. Am I hungry? Am I thirsty? My neck hurts. My back hurts. I'm breathing really heavy. I'm breathing out of my mouth. Being super aware of your body is a pretty cool and powerful thing. Does anybody have any questions about anything that we've talked about? Does anybody have any thoughts? You're like, it's great. I'm going to do all of it. How do you use the ball in your neck? I have one, suffer from stress in my neck. The ball we're doing something called myofascial release. And so we're trying to just break things up. There's no right or wrong on this. And this can be accomplished with a foam roller as well. Now this, right now, I'm just kind of digging into here. I know that like my, right here in my neck, I'm going to hold a lot of tension down here, kind of in the glands. So it's easy. And I always say that, like with the ball, you're just kind of exploring. And then if you find something that's like, oh, I got a light bulb, I got a finger in a light bulb, you're onto something, and then go a little bit deeper with it. We're really looking for about, most studies say 10 to 20 kind of strokes in the area. I'm just working in a circular motion right here with the ball. But I can tell you right now, just working here on the side of my neck, I'm like, well, I was holding some tension there. The other great spot too is right here in the back of the neck. And I can get that right there of just working it in a circular motion. Doing physically taxing exercise, you're supposed to still breathe through your nose. Yes, you are. And that's the crazy thing. And I don't do it all the time when I'm running, but that's one thing that Mr. Nestor talks about. He says, if you've ever seen a runner at the end of a run and they're like, that is not what you should want to be looking like at the end of a run. And like I said, I'm guilty of this as well, but optimally breathing involves us breathing in and out of our nose. Elevation Station, we've got our hot minute tips. Also, the videos are up there. So if you've missed any of the previous ones that have gone on, I encourage you to give those a look. Yes, you should breathe through your nose when you run. I know. It's weird, and it's going to be weird. And it's also like not something that you should go out and expect that you're going to get a PR the first time you try to do the activity breathing through your nose, right? It takes a lot of time and a lot of practice. And I encourage you to just start trying to practice it in your everyday life first, and then see if you can slowly start to incorporate it in your running. And again, just be a little bit mindful about it when you're running, and say, okay, for the next 60 seconds, I'm going to try to just breathe in and out of my nose. And see what happens. Again, if there was like anything I would say for you to take with you today, get yourself a lacrosse ball if you don't have one already. $4, the best $4 you'll spend. You can also get a foam roller these days for like $10. Continue to try our breathe in through our nose, hold, breathe in again through our nose, exhale through our nose, and taking those moments of mindfulness prior to meals. Well, this was great. And like I said, I put my email here, r.harden@Contact Elevation. You have questions come up once you get into the reading, feel free to shoot me an email. Also Instagram, Twitter @RobertHarden. I sometimes put things up there that I'm reading or things that I'm working on here at the University of Kentucky. And also I encourage you to follow us on social media @Elevation Corporate Health. We do incentives on there. We share things that we're working on, and sometimes you just need a quote to get you through Friday, and so we try to have that on there for you as well. This has been the pleasure's been all mine. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. And I hope that you enjoyed the duration, the path, and the outcome.